Well, let's start with my solar setup. I have 4 panels up here. There's two 320 watt panels and two 290 watt panels. So essentially what I say is I've got about 1200 watts of solar up here, and that's been working pretty well. The ambulance already comes with a bunch of holes already in it if you've ever seen one. There's antennas mounted in these things, and so I just used the existing antenna holes to put the entry glands in, and then did a little die core, and on some of them I just used the VHB 3M adhesive tape that is incredibly strong, and then sealed it with Eternabond, which if you've never used Eternabond, I highly recommend it. Well, having spent a lifetime in public safety, one of my main concerns was public safety. And my biggest fear in mounting these solar panels was having these things come flying off the roof and hitting somebody while they're driving. So one thing I did to prevent a lot of the wind from getting underneath those panels was I put in some of this aluminum angle iron, and I ran it the length of the ambulance just to act as a windshield, basically, from having that 70 mile an hour, well, rarely do I go 70 miles an hour, 60 mile an hour winds going underneath these panels and creating lift. So it seems to be working pretty well. These things are solid. They're on there really, really tight. And I am pretty happy with over 6,000 miles on this thing, how well these things have stayed on the roof. Another thing I did was remove the light bar that was mounted up there, and there were red lenses on these flashing lights, which are old enough that they're not even LEDs, they're strobes. And I just replaced those with white lenses. So this thing is completely legal. There are no flashing red lights on this vehicle anywhere. So just a brief overview of what we're going to be looking at is the electrical cabinet, which is right here. This will be where the water is stored. And this cabinet here is going to be the generator and the grill and the camping shower up on top. This cabinet is going to be where I have the tables and chairs and the little camp setup down the bottom here, and it's open up on top that goes into the inside of the ambulance. And then what we'll see right here is the pass-through cabinet, which when you can open it up from outside, but also everything that's in there can be reached from inside here. Now, one nice thing about these ambulances is they have plenty of outside storage. And so I took the big oxygen compartment. This is normally where the oxygen tank would sit, and you would reach through that door to turn on the oxygen tank that usually came up to about where that propane tank is sitting. And that's where my solar comes into this vehicle and goes into the 2 Victron solar controllers. And I got to tell you, I knew nothing about solar before I started this project, and I have to give all the credit to Will Prowse. If you go to DIY solar with Will Prowse, you will become an expert pretty quickly. That kid, of course, I'm much older than he is, but I say kid and I say it respectfully, he is absolutely a genius when it comes to this. He's very smart when it comes to electrical systems. So I have my solar that of course charges my batteries. I've got a Victron Multi-Plus. It's a 3,000 watt inverter and a charger. I also have the Bluetooth capability on these, and there's Bluetooth on the shunt, the Victron shunt. So this allows me to monitor my battery levels, my consumption. It's just an all-around wonderful system to have. I really have enjoyed it. And there's another system that you can attach to these Victron Multiplus inverters, and what it does is it allows you to control whether it's charging or it's off, or if the inverter is on or off, just from your phone and Bluetooth, and that's that box you see stuck on the side there. And then, of course, underneath, you got to have some place to store that stuff. So packed behind all this styrofoam is 600 amp hours of lithium-ion batteries, and it's been absolutely wonderful. Gives me a couple of extra days of, in case it's cloudy. It's been very nice to have. Of course, I do have a generator in the event that the batteries get too low and I have to charge it up. And one thing I wanted to do when I first got it was get rid of the auto eject plug, and I put in a regular 30 amp RV plug, and that's worked out very, very well for me. This outside compartment is where the suction unit for the inside of the ambulance, where, believe it or not, sometimes things get in people's mouths that have to be suctioned out. Yeah, it can be gross, but hey, part of the business. And this is where I decided to put my 35-gallon water tank and my plumbing. So I had never done any of this type of stuff before, any of this PEX plumbing, and I opted to use the expandable PEX. And if you have never used that stuff, I hadn't, I think it's absolutely wonderful. That's hooked up to a regular RV water pump, and it just works great. And the way this system works is, obviously I've got a little bit of a tilt here that comes down. I've got a valve that I can turn the water on and off. I've also got a drain valve here that's also kind of tilted down a little bit. And as you can see, that's in the off position. But if I just want to drain this tank, I can open this valve, and it drains right out the bottom. I can drain the whole tank. One of the other things I did was I wanted to make sure that I could use my outdoor shower, which I really enjoy. And so I hooked up a quick disconnect on this and put a valve in here. And so when I have my propane shower hooked up, I hook the hose up here, and that allows the water to feed into the propane shower, the propane water heater, and it works really well. And of course, from here I split into my cold water pipe, which runs down along the side there, and then I have another one that goes down into my water heater. And maybe I'd say hot water heater, but then it reminds me of the old, I think it was George Carlin used to say, why would you heat hot water? So we'll just call it a water heater. And this thing works well. It heats up very fast. It's only 2 gallons, but if you know what a camping shower is, that's what I take as a camping shower. Doesn't take a lot, so it works out perfectly for me. It pulls a lot of electricity, but again, it's really not on for all that long, so I just ran an extension cord into the inside, and that allows me to plug it in and get the power from the outlets that are inside the ambulance. And if you look further up in there, you will see a hose sticking down, and that's where my shower nozzle is. So that's actually a hose connected to my shower nozzle, so I can run the shower down through that hole and take a shower outside. If I don't want to use the propane tank, I can actually use the electric tank and take a shower outside. And of course, I have my regular RV water filter that I hook up to my hose whenever I'm filling my water tank, and that is stored over here. I have a RV appropriate water hose. I have a shower tent, extra connections. You never know what you're going to need, so you bring a little bit extra. And what's nice is on an ambulance, there's so many of these, there's so much storage that you really don't have to worry about running out of space to put everything you need. Okay, another tall cabinet back here, and this is normally where spare tire and other items were kept, where you would keep sandbags and other weird stuff back in the day. So now I've got a telescoping ladder, which I really like. My GenMax generator that starts electrically. It's got a backup pull start, but really all you got to do is push the button and it cranks up. Of course, extra oil, extra coolant, because you never know. I've got my diesel additive, and I've got 30 pounds of propane, and that's usually what I hook up to my outdoor water heater, which is up in here. It's all wrapped up, but these are the connections. And that is simply, it's just got a hook on the back of it, and that just gets put right up here on that hook, and it hangs right on this door, and I just stand here and I could take a shower. Usually I run it inside my shower tent, and that's how I get a shower. Now we get you got to have a grill, you got to have something to cook, a way to cook. So generally I'll use that grill, and of course when that grill is running, it's hooked up to that propane tank. And then I have some additional propane hose in case I need to run an extension. I've got an extension right there. And this Milwaukee inflator is absolutely amazing. I didn't know if it would work on something as big as these Freightliner tires, but it goes to 150 and 150 psi, and the tires on the back take 110, and it's absolutely perfect for that. So I just love this thing. Back here, what I have are a couple of those recovery boards that you've probably seen on a lot of overlanders, that if you get stuck in something, you can kind of use them as a shovel, and you can stick them under your tires. These are rated for 20,000 pounds, and the gross weight for this vehicle is 20,000 pounds. So I don't think I'm going to get 20,000 pounds on one set of dualies, so I think I should be okay with those. But since this is only two-wheel drive, I thought that would be a great thing to have, since I am out in the desert or up in the forest, and sometimes those roads get wet and messy, and you want to be able to get yourself out. Never had to use them, and I'm knocking on wood that I will never have to, but I'm a big proponent in belt and suspenders. Have something, better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. This area is pretty empty right now, but that's where I keep my window covers and my portable propane heater, my catalytic heater. And that little thing is a folding teak wood. It's a little thing that you can set in the bottom of your shower when I'm using that shower tent on the outside. And it keeps your feet out of the dirt. It keeps them a little cleaner. Just lets the water run down, and then can slip right into my shower shoes without getting dirt on my feet. This actually had very long metal dividers in between it. You can kind of see some of the screw holes in the wall there where these dividers are up, and that's actually what I cut and made these shelves. So it actually gave me some material to make some of the shelving that I have in here, actually all of the shelving that I have in here. And right now I just have it's a little camp stove set up where you can put your stove and your utensils, and this is a Magellan outdoors model, but it just expands into like a little cooking area. It's really wonderful. I've got some sandbags that were left in here by the old EMS. We used to use those back in the day. Got away from those, but since they left them, I use them to hold down things like tarps and things for when it's windy. I have an awning that I will put in here that I use suction cups, mount them on the side of the box. This aluminum box is great for just putting suction cups on and mounting stuff to it. Works really well. And I've got my little folding rocking chair, little fold-up table, and behind that is an awesome little aluminum table that was on clearance at Walmart for like $4. And I wish I could find a few more of them because they're absolutely amazing. So this is pretty much known as a pass-through cabinet. This opens up to both the outside, which would be the curb side of the ambulance, and it opens up to the inside of the ambulance. So you can see where we have the outside door right here, the main entrance door to get in and out of the ambulance. And so this area and this area up here that you can barely see, which is actually a pretty large storage area. But right here, I generally keep beverages in here. These will hold not 12, but 11 cans, which is good enough. And I did have a great big Ice Co fridge in here that used to slide out. And it was kind of a pain in the butt because the door would hit up top here when I was trying to open it up. And it was useful. I could get into it. It was just kind of a pain. And so I got one of these little fridges because I realized I was throwing all my beverages inside the refrigerator and I really didn't need to. And this refrigerator has worked out just really well. It works, and it works well, and it's a 12-volt system. And I don't have to worry about when I'm parked and having the AC, the inverter running all the time, because this will run when the truck is running, that DC is running, and it just keeps everything nice and cold. Down here is where I have all my tools, and got a big old 20-ton jack back there, and just big tool roll and all the things that you would expect someone to have in the event of a breakdown. Got an axe, got a little portable shovel, trenching tool type thing. Got some sockets, just things you want to have when you're out on your own. On the passenger side of my unit, I decided to take out the seat because there was no air ride seat. It was just a big, hard seat. And pretty much my wife has let me know that she really does not want to join me when I'm in this. She would rather go in the fifth wheel and go glamping. And I don't blame her. And I enjoy being out in this thing. So I just took out the seat. And what I did was put a computer mount, basically like we used to have in the law enforcement vehicles. And that allows me to mount my iPad right up in here. And I can look at it. Usually I have the map up wherever I'm going, and that way I can see how long it's going to take me. And, just kind of watch, especially Google Maps is pretty good on traffic, actually. And a few times that I've ignored their reroutes, I've learned to regret it. So now I just pay attention to Google Maps, and it gets me to where I'm going the fastest. This is a first aid kit, jump kit. It's almost impossible to have been a medic for almost 5 decades and not want to have a first aid kit. So you got to have something to take with you. And then, of course, my Harbor Freight Apache case is where I keep my Starlink Mini in the event I need that for communications. Well, there you have it. Took 2 videos. So if this is the first time you're catching the Dambulance, there was an episode 1 where we covered the inside of the ambulance, and now you've got the outside. So that's my overview of my little ambulance turned camper. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you on the next video, where I think we're gonna take this thing on a little trip. Hope to see you there. Bye.